What's up, everybody? HMB Live, Tuesdays at 11 a.m. Good to see everybody today. Just hit the launch button, live button, so we're on Facebook Live. As always, I'm Jason Balin. This is Chris Haddon. We're both from Hard Money Bankers. We do this HMB Live show every Tuesday at 11 a.m., and it's 11 a.m. on Tuesday, so we're about to dive in. Just quick background of exactly how a show like this works. It is live on Facebook. You can comment if you comment through this Facebook feed. We do this through a software called Be Live. So any comments that you have can be shared with the group, and if you're lucky enough, maybe we'll even answer that question on the show. Also, if you'd like to be on the show today, I just added a link in the comments section. It should pop up soon. And you click on that link, you'll get put into our green room, into our lobby. And when the time comes, we'll invite you into the show, and you can ask any questions that you may have. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of this graphic right here. I'm going to pop that link up there in case you don't have it. Make sure you share this on Facebook with anybody you have. Any questions related to anything real estate, finance, business, that's what we typically talk about on this show. So anything related to that, feel free to comment below or click on the link if you want to ask your question in person, and we'll be happy to help with that. Today's topic is we're going to talk a little bit about creating partnerships. Creating partnerships, in theory, seem to be very, very easy, but they're not. And we're going to dive in about some successful partnerships we've had, some unsuccessful partnerships we have, and go over some reasons why you would want to create a partnership with somebody.
Yeah, for sure. And in addition to ones that we've had on our own, in our position as lenders and as sometimes equity partners in deals, we're able to see a lot of other people's partnerships. And there's a lot of good ones and a very high percentage of partnerships that don't work out. So we've learned from what we've seen over the years, and we are going to tell you everything that we know, because hopefully it can help you too. Yeah,
absolutely. And creating partnerships the right way can be extremely profitable, but you just got to make sure two things happen. The person that you're creating a partnership is bringing value to the partnership, maybe value of something that you don't already have, and make sure the financial outcome of the partnership is accurate. You don't just create a partnership to just create an LLC, say, hey, I got an entity, I'm doing deals, blah, 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 blah. You need to make sure everyone financially is making what they want out of it, or a partnership will not last. So let's dive right in. The first part of a partnership, or maybe the reason, not the first part of a partnership, maybe the reason why you want to create a partnership is to do deals or have access to deals. Maybe you say, hey, I have some money. This person has a good deal. I want to partner with him because he has a deal and I need access to deals. Right? Why not create a partnership with somebody who already has a good deal?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, a very common setup is to do hey, I have access to deals, or I'm a good marketer, and another person might have money or some kind of resources or access to it. And combining those two parts together makes sense. And it always sounds good on paper, but how it turns out, that's something that people need to be very careful of, because as we've said before, in real estate investing, there's very, very little barrier to entry. There's no license you have to have. There's no tests that you have to pass. Anybody can just walk into a RIA and say, hey, I'm a real estate investor. So there's a lot of things to be careful of there. And since we're talking about deals, and we'll address some other stuff soon, just because a person has access to deals doesn't mean it's stuff that you want to buy. And sure, you need to be very careful about that. Everybody, so many people at a real estate meeting have deals, but the vast majority of those aren't pieces of property that you're going to want to buy.
Yeah. So let's just assume somebody does have a good deal. What's a good deal worth in order to bring a good deal into a partnership? So there's a few things. If you have a good deal, and to back up related to a partnership, partnerships, as you'll find if you've been involved in partnerships, are freaking hard, right? Because goals typically are just not aligned. You try to plan your goals ahead of time, but they just don't end up. So if you have the ability to do a transaction, a deal without a partner, by all means do it. It makes more sense. Sometimes whatever value that person's bringing, maybe let's say they're bringing money, we'll take it on as debt instead of equity into it. Or maybe, you're trying to have a good deal, but you don't know what to do with it. Maybe the play is just to wholesale it. make some good money now instead of holding on and trying to bring on a capital partner or bringing on someone that has experience in flipping or contractor and things like that. But that being said, a deal is the first part. If there's no deal, there's no discussion. So when you have a good deal, you can either wholesale it off. There's obviously an opportunity there. And if you just have no money to work with, maybe you do find an equity partner that you joint venture with. They put up all the money. You bring the deal to the table. There's still the X factor of the flip, the contractor, the experience in navigating the deal. Like we said, and we're going to go into depth with all these. There's the deal, there's the experience of navigating the deal and executing the construction side, and then there's the money side. Those are typically the three things. I don't want to say that each of them equally represent 1/3 of the profits of the deal, but that's a part of it. And it's up to you, obviously, to determine how valuable that particular deal is. But the deal is important. And I would say if you don't have much experience, take the deal, find someone who can execute on that deal and sell that to them instead of trying to, hey, let's partner with this. We'll do this together. We'll do this together. On your first deal with a lack of experience, that makes it challenging because chances are by the time that whole deal is skimmed with different partners, there's probably nothing left. So take the deal and, either partner with somebody who you really, really feel that you have a good relationship with that's bringing other value to it, or figure out a way to just sell that property off.
Yeah, if you do have a good buy, like Jason said, it has to start with having a good deal. Then you can talk about the rest of the stuff. Without a property to buy, all of it is kind of moot. So when you do have a good property to buy, an investor, either a new one or experienced one, should be very honest with themselves about the skill sets that they do have and what they don't. And partnerships can often come from filling those gaps in your game. Like say you're not good at construction, you can partner with somebody who does it, a day in, day out. Also like the money, like we said before, if you need financial resources, that can be a good opportunity. If you happen to be a good operator and someone else has financial resources, but maybe they're not the best operator in real estate. But I think the most important thing is just to be very, very honest with yourself. What you do have, what you don't have, make sure you stay out of trouble. Get into good deals, not dangerous ones.
Yeah, and a lot of people that feel, newer investors that feel like they have a good deal, maybe it doesn't end up being as good as they think it is. And what ends up happening is they kind of hold it, and then they end up making no money on it because they're not open to have one of these other partners come in kind of to help them. So if you're just tuning into this show, we do this every Tuesday at 11 a.m. I want to welcome you. It's called the HMB Live Show. Feel free to comment below any questions that you have. We talk real estate, we talk business, we talk finance, and we talk marketing. Those are the four things that we can say we have enough experience in. So we're happy to share any insights that you have. Any question you have related to that, doesn't matter what it is, feel free to comment below and we can answer your question. Also, if you want to be on the show, I'm going to give you the link right here. You just click on that link. I think you have to be in, you can't be on Apple Safari. I think you have to be on Google Chrome in order for that link to work. But you can jump on, answer any questions that you have. Today, we're talking about creating partnerships, specifically to real estate investment transactions. We know so many people that have created entities or they've done this and they're using this partner for this, they're using this partner for that. And in theory, it all makes sense, but it ends up being very clunky. So there's a time and the place for a partner. And, hopefully some things that we go over today, along with some collaboration from yourself of questions that you have, hopefully we can all share with the community. So we already talked about deals related to partnerships. The next thing we're going to talk about is experience, potentially bringing on a partner with experience. And I personally like this one. And the reason why I like the experience side of it is I personally like to pay, or even if I'm not paying now, I like to have somebody involved that, even if it's collecting money out of my pocket, knows what the hell they're doing, because I don't like doing stuff the hard way. I'd rather someone with experience knowing exactly what to do. I believe that there's a lot of deals out there. I believe there's a lot of money out there, and you can get your hands on both of those. But the experience and having proper guidance is tough. We usually, where we are in our business, we usually need experience navigating the construction process. We're not great operators on construction and renovations and things like that. So to me, and probably to Chris as well, there's a lot of value to us to partner with somebody who, we buy a property, we put up all the money, you go renovate it and deal with all the headaches and the heavy lifting of the construction side of things, because we're not good at that. And there's a lot of value to us with bringing on someone with experience.
Absolutely. I mean, that's leverage in business, when you're able to leverage other people, other organizations' abilities to create a good financial outcome. It's a good thing. And that applies to all sorts of different stuff. And one thing that I would say when people are considering partnering with somebody for their experience is to be smart and take a look at their track record, take a look at some deals that they've been involved with, whether it's as a contractor or, the principal owning the property themselves. And also I would take a hard look at what a person has going on currently. It's a big red flag if somebody that you would consider partnering with isn't doing any real estate right now, because there's probably a reason for that. Like things haven't worked out great in the past or whatever it may be. So that's just something I would take a hard look at. Those couple things when you're looking at a potential partner's experience is what they've done in the past and what they're doing right now.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's so many different ways of different experience that people and partnerships for experience that you can bring to the table. It's not just construction. It could just be navigating the deal. It could be a wholesaler saying, I have a great deal under contract, but I don't know how to do this. I don't know how to do that. Something simple that we all take for granted. I'm going to throw a question on the board in a second that we recently just got. And it's related to, are you just talking to first-time buyers or first-time flippers? And actually, I'm going to throw that on here right now because I think it makes a valid point. And this topic actually is more geared to experienced real estate investors than first-time flippers. I think a lot of first-time investors and a lot of first-time flippers actually don't want a partnership because they want to keep all the money to themselves, and they feel that they can do it themselves, and they know it all. But I truly believe that as you grow and you buy more properties, like Chris was just saying, the term leverage, you need more help. You need more people. You need more money partners. You need somebody that can run these construction projects. You need this. And as you grow, the partnerships usually what comes. The first-time buyers are not typically creating partnerships. Maybe it's like, hey, let's create this business and let's do some deals together. I get all that. But I think a lot of it is, I've done a few deals, you've done a few deals, you have access to money, I've got access to deals, we both have experience. Let's form a partnership and scale this biatch and take it to the next level. I think that's, the type of partnership that a lot of people out there really need. So Todd's question is, so far it sounds like you're trying to talk to first-time buyers, flippers, out of executing his first deal. Do you require a partner before funding a first-time investor? No, we don't really care if you have a partner or not. Obviously, if you have one partner, if you have 10 partners, that's great. We're happy to have all of them sign on our loan. Obviously, if you want to create a partner, that's fine. But the answer is, if you can execute yourself, if you have, like we said, a good deal, if you have the means, doesn't mean you've done a deal before, but you have the means by hiring the proper contractor, by having the right resources to execute and to flip your property, plus you have the financial capabilities of bringing the cash to close the table, plus the monthly payments, then no, absolutely, you don't need a partner.
Yeah, I want to jump in real quick on the first part of Todd's question. Actually, I'll make a couple quick comments on Todd's question there. So yeah, I can understand how it would come off that we're trying to talk a first-time investor out of executing on his first deal. That's not what we mean. We do real estate and we want people to do real estate too. We just want to encourage people to be very careful because there's risk involved in doing deals. And, as a lender and an equity partner and a lot of them, honestly, we see a lot of good situations and we see a number of bad ones too. So we just want people to be careful, be smart, do due diligence, work their numbers very, very tight, and execute properly. And so, no, we're not trying to discourage people from doing real estate. Very much the opposite. We just want people to be smart about it.
Yeah, absolutely. If you're just tuning in, we're answering a few questions related to partnerships in a real estate investment transaction. That's the topic for today, creating partnerships. We do this show at 11 a.m. every Tuesday. Any questions that you have, feel free to comment below in this thread, or if you want to come on the show live, feel free to click on this link and you can jump in as well. Got another question that came in from Ian Walsh. Let's read this question to the audience, Ian. Can you elaborate on the JV as a type of loan that comes into the conversation, assuming the first deal wouldn't be the time to chat on that?
Ian, I'm not 100% sure.
Ian, I'm not 100% sure what that means.
You might need to follow up and explain that a little bit better.
Can you elaborate on when a JV is a type of loan that comes into the conversations. Be the time.
Okay,
I get it. I just had to read it.
Jason and I both speak Ian Walsh fluently, so I think I translated it. You got it now too?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
Jump in on that.
I think he's trying to say that a joint venture, meaning you're an equity partner with a potential client, often is not the first offer a lender will make. We're going to offer a loan because it's more easy and predictable. But when is it the right time to chat about a JV, a joint venture? Is that what you're getting from that?
Yeah. Well, yeah. We have a lot of borrowers that come to us and want to do joint ventures right at the beginning, and don't know if they have a track record, don't know, what their experience level is, and when we personally do JVs, and I don't know if that's with everybody, when we do joint ventures, we just want to put up the money, and we want the borrower to do all the work. So if you want to do a joint venture, and that's with a lot of capital partners, I think, a lot of private lenders, hard money lenders, we're the money side of it. That means you better have a good deal, and that means you better darn well know how to execute on that deal.
Absolutely.
So I think so, and I do think a lot of borrowers come and want to do joint ventures on their first deal, and I'm not saying we're not open to doing that, but it's not applying for a JV shouldn't be, well, I don't have any money to contribute to the deal, so I'll just do a joint venture. Then that's usually what a lot of our borrowers come with. If it's truly a great deal and you truly can execute on it, and you have a track record of executing, great, let's talk. And we have done some of those. They don't come all that often, but we have. But yeah, I mean, it's the JVs are, for most hard money lenders, it's not what they concentrate on. They want to do good loans and they want to be the lending side. They don't want to be doing the construction stuff. They don't want to be buying properties. It's just like I had a borrower that reached out the other day and said, well, it's good if you guys foreclose. You guys can take back the property. And it's like, well, when you foreclose on a property, the loan to own strategy is not the best strategy for a lender. We don't want to foreclose on the property. Number one, I'm not going to get the property back at the price we wanted. And number two, if we wanted to buy property, we would go buy property and not lend on a regular basis. So they're kind of different setups, and it's similar to the JV. On the JV, we want to be the financial side of it.
Yeah, I think practically speaking, the answer to that part of Ian's question is that a hard money lender is going to be open to a joint venture after having done several deals with the client and seeing them perform, doing loans and seeing them perform well on the construction and the exit before getting into a joint venture situation. So that's the realistic answer.
Yeah. If you're just tuning in, make sure to comment with any questions that you have. Lucky enough, we will answer one of those questions for you. And my light just went out because it's on automatic lights, but now it's back on. We'll answer any questions that you have. 11 a.m. on Tuesday. I got a few people in the green room that want to answer some questions in the lobby. Looks like one of their internets just cut out, so we'll keep proceeding, and then when he jumps back in, we'll ask that question. So the last thing, we talked about creating partnerships, which are fruitful but challenging at the same time. So it just depends on, it's got to be taken seriously and run the right way. So we talked about creating a partnership because someone might have access to a deal. We talked about creating partnerships because someone might have access to experience. The last thing that we're going to talk about related to creating partnerships is creating partnerships with someone who has access to money, right? Having access to money is obviously important, right? That's one part of why people create partnerships. Now, keep in mind, someone has money, that doesn't mean you necessarily need to create a partnership, business entity, or anything like that. They could just lend you money. When borrowers come to us, we don't create partnerships with them. We just lend them money. We have a defined role of what we're doing. We're putting up money, and the borrowers have a defined role, or the real estate investor has a defined role of flipping the house or buying a rental property, or whatever the case is. So don't just think just because someone's bringing up the money, you need to create a partnership with them. But there's also nothing wrong, if done properly, with, hey, I'm a workhorse. I have access to a lot of deals. I'm going to run construction. You are just a capital partner. You put up all the money, and let's create an entity 50-50 or whatever the setup is, and let's do our thing.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we've seen, and I know we've kind of been throwing up the warning signs about the the pitfalls that can come with partnerships, but we've seen a lot of great ones too. So I want to talk about that a little bit. In our position as a lender, we, like Jason was saying, we come across a lot of deals, we come across a lot of leads, but executing on property stuff isn't what we do day to day. And so we're often looking for partners that can fill that role. And we have a couple great ones too. There's one that goes by the nickname The Wolf, and he calls himself The Wolf. So I don't know if it really counts as a nickname, but he's a very, very good operator in real estate, whether it's a wholesale deal, a flip, maybe just buying and selling as is, which he's very sharp with too. So that's an example of we're bringing the financial resources to the table. And of course, he has plenty of financial resources too, but he's the operator that we're looking for. And it's worked out great on several deals over the years. So yeah, I think we can comment on a couple other different partnerships that we've seen, not just ours, not just partnerships of our own, but that we've seen with clients and friends and other people around our meetup group that have worked really well. So yeah, we can chat about some of those too.
Yeah, I mean, as we've kind of discussed or hinted through this conversation, the deal side, the money side, we like all that. The execution of the construction side is what we lack. And when we look on to take on a partner, that's what we want to take on a partner of. Let them handle that part of it. If they can't execute, then there's no point of having that deal or partnership. I think a lot of people out there feel like, hey, I have the deal and I have the experience, but I need the capital resources for it. And again, two things can happen. Either take it on as debt, meaning someone just loans you the money for it, or create a partnership with somebody. But you got to make sure you have clearly defined roles of exactly what everybody's doing. And a lot of people say, oh, we'll just work it out later. It doesn't work like that. You can't work things out later, because by the time you want to work it out, it's going to be too late. So you need clearly defined roles, and you need to make sure the financial outcome is the end goal. So we just got Ian Horowitz popped in. I'm going to throw him up here to the broadcast. Give me one sec, guys. And I'm sure Ian's got lots of insight. Ian's a full-time real estate investor, and he actually has a few partnerships going on as well. So we'll see what he's got.
So we just got
Ian
Horowitz.
Ian, turn your mic down.
I'm going to throw him up here.
Turn your mic down, Ian.
Broadcast.
Hey guys, how you doing?
Give me one.
Ian, you got to turn your mic down. I just muted you. Ian, you're on a delay, buddy. Can you hear me, Chris?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah. Ian, you got to turn your mic off like you're on the radio. You're like the radio caller. You're the radio caller who calls into the show and then keeps their freaking mic on. Oh, hey, I'm on the radio. Can you hear me? All right. I have you on mute, but I'm going to put you off mute, Ian.
Ian, you got to turn your mic off like you're on the radio.
Yeah, no, I don't know.
You're like the radio caller.
Using my
You're
laptop.
the radio caller who calls into the show.
I'm muting you again. Mute your...
I think he just needs to close Facebook, right?
Yeah, close Facebook and mute your computer. Oh, no, you can't mute your computer. Sorry.
Yeah, don't do that.
I'm taking you offline, Ian, and we'll put you back up later. All right.
It happens.
Some technical errors from... Ian's even got a Facebook Be Live account, too, and still doesn't know how to use it. Amateur hour. No, I'm just kidding. All right, so if you're just tuning in, we're talking partnerships, creating profitable partnerships in real estate investment transactions. Three big things to create a partnership: deal, experience. The experience kind of overlaps with running construction and understanding it, and kind of the access to capital, the money side of things. We do this show every Tuesday at 11 a.m. We do it live. We stream it through Facebook. You can access it afterwards. Any questions that you have, you can always comment. We get some really, really, really good questions that come in from local real estate investors and national real estate investors that want to expand their business, that want to collaborate. We do try to keep the topics to real estate, business, marketing, and finance. Those are things that we're passionate about and those things that we like to talk about. So we try to keep the topics to that. So if you have any questions, feel free to comment below. And also, if you want to be on the show, all you got to do is click this link. I think you got to be in like Google Chrome or something. Just don't do the amateur mistake and listen to yourself talk on the radio like Ian does, and it'll work. So it looks like Ian's back in the lobby. Let's see if I can bring him on and see if it works. Hang on one second. Let's see if we can bring Ian onto the show. There he is.
Much better.
There you go.
Hey, listen, anyone that wants to try to get on this program, do not have your Facebook open, the Be Live open. Don't have your partner here yelling at you.
Is that a partner or a homeless guy?
Nah, it's a little bit of both, but that's why I have a partner to keep it all straight.
Dan, you're inside. You can take your hood off.
Yeah, he's gone. He's run back to his cold little office. But
yeah, I mean, we're talking about. I guess we're talking about creating partnersps, but whatever. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Well, that's the best part about the partnership is like you guys have fun every day. We have fun every day, and I think a valid point, and maybe you guys can elaborate more, is for us. It's not just partnerships of we've done the things where we've had people that just give us money. It's not always successful. We've had people that have had the deals, and we've brought the money. It works. But I think the biggest thing for a long-term relationship and a long-term partnership is people's personality as well. And I know you guys are big on the DISC personality questionnaire. Do you think that's something that would be successful to creating a partnership? I know for me and Dan, after we reviewed it, that we're literally complete opposites in all the right spots. So,
yeah. I mean, I think the DISC personality assessment is right. I think it might be challenging to ask them to take DISC personality test. I mean, maybe not. Maybe say, here's my DISC, take your DISC, make sure, because the last thing you want is two of the exact same people, dominant personalities, ramming down each other's freaking throat every day. That's the last thing that you want. You do it this way, you do it this way, you do it this way. You need to have a trust factor that each person can handle their particular duties. But you probably know DISC well enough right now, just like we do, that you don't necessarily need them to take the test. You know what they are if you're spending enough time with them. And it's not like you're just trying to find some homeless guy off the street like Dan looked like when he came into your office. But, so it's somebody that you already know typically. It's not like you're putting an ad in Craigslist to say, hey, I'm looking for a partner, right? A proper partner is somebody who's going to grow with you and knows your family and is really involved, a friendship. So a lot of those people, you probably already know their personality types. So that'd be helpful. Yeah,
and just to jump in real quick on that, since you mentioned that you guys have a lot of different stuff. I mean, there's different ways to do it, and a lot of it is about complementary skill sets that come with the personality types. It's definitely okay to be similar. I mean, I think a lot of people who get into real estate and running companies in general are going to have a good amount of D. Like that's just a very, very common thing. People who want to run businesses, and then that secondary sort of trait being complementary can be a very, very good thing. So yeah, I mean, you can be very different or you can be similar in a lot of ways with those good complements. And I think it can work out, but that does require a good level of DISC personality knowledge to kind of get there. That's going to be, for most people to partner up on a deal and talking about it in the meetup group or whatever, that's going to be more applicable to like long-term partnerships than it is like one-off stuff.
Right. Yeah. And especially, like with the meetup groups, a lot of people are there. Everyone's got common interests. And, you see a lot of people like get into partnerships. Oh, I met him at a meetup. But, there's a lot more background that you should probably do to make sure you're successful even on just one deal. Partnerships are tough on one deal. It always comes down to one person's doing work or that's how it feels. And you just want to make sure people aren't, set expectations day one,
Yeah, exactly. And a lot of the stuff we were just talking about with having access to deals, experience, and money, you're right. That's kind of a broad per transaction basis. But hopefully that leads into other things. It could lead into other things, but define roles is important. If you're just starting out or, or if you're experienced and let's say you both have access to deals or you both have experience or even you both have money, you can all three of those things eventually you need to have access to in order to really, really be able to create a good real estate investment company. And even if you don't have any of those things right now and you want to create a partnership, as long as you kind of have defined roles, because the last thing you could do is question your partner. So all of a sudden you say, okay, well, I'm going to be running seller leads. You're like, well, I want to run seller leads. Okay, well, great. You're going to run seller leads now, and I'm going to do this, or I'm going to do bookkeeping, and you're going to do this. And you trust each other that they're going to do it properly. And that goes back to making sure, this is someone you already maybe have a previous friendship with, or somebody that you trust, maybe someone you've already made money with, or whatever the case is, just because there is a huge trust factor in partnerships. And when times are good, partnerships always work. Why won't they work, right? If they're good, everyone says, oh, well, I'm not greedy. I just want to, make my fair share, right? Like that's just a typical term that everyone will say. Well, if you may do a flip and you make 20 grand and you split it up 50-50, of course, no one's going to be unhappy about that. But what happens when you lose 20 grand? Are you going to come up with 10 grand to cover the difference? Am I going to come up with 10 grand to cover the difference? There's so many unknowns that will occur. They will. Like, they're not if. They're not like they will occur, and they have occurred. So all those things have to be defined, and you can go and learn along the ways as it's happening, but just don't be naive about it, as that stuff will happen. And
Right.
and I would probably say, and you know, partnerships, usually most partnerships probably probably don't work out. It's kind of like a business entity. I think they say 10% or 90% of LLCs that are created go out of business or something related to that. But just like partnerships, I think a lot of partnerships end up kind of failing at some point. So that doesn't mean it's going to have to be our partnership or your partnership or any of you listening, watching's partnership. It just has to be done the correct way so you can take proper precautions. And a lot of times things fail just because people change their goals, right? Originally they wanted this, but now they want this, or they don't like the direction that the partnership's going in. So just all things to take in consideration. I mean, this is an educational topic and collaborative that we're going through right now, and we're all learning. And business is hard.
So while I'm here, you mind if I ask one more question?
Yeah,
Go right ahead.
So not only is it personality, but what, as dumb as it sounds, you'd think everyone in a partnership would have the same common goal. But I mean, how important is that someone that's creating a partnership to have the same common goal for the same end game? Do you find that as a top priority?
It's a super top priority, and it's a tricky one. And here's why. Oftentimes people will state that their end goal is X. For example, I don't know, it could be like financial related, owning this many properties, making this much, whatever it is. But that's not really how they act. That's the tricky part of it. And in martial arts, our friend who owns MMA school, he calls that a goal in behavior congruence or incongruence. So you might say that you want this thing, but what you do day to day is something very, very different. And that's something that is tough because you can only learn that about a person with time. But being as transparent and realistic with potential partners up front about what your goals are is absolutely crucial to how to start. And then still beyond that, you're going to have to be very mindful of how you operate, how your partner operates, and make sure that whatever their stated goal is what they get up and do every day.
Sounds good.
Yeah. I mean, in my mind, just like the same reason we start businesses, the financial outcome of it. I don't care. I don't have an ego related to owning a certain amount of properties or doing a certain amount of deals. Like, I don't give a crap. I would much rather do one deal and make my yearly income off that one transaction than have to grind through 250 transactions every year. Right? Super simple. And Chris and I have had partners in the past, and Chris and I have really a good, fruitful, long-term partnership. But we've taken on additional partners for projects before, and there's a lot of partners that we've taken on that clearly don't really care about the financial gain. They care about, hey, let's do more deals. Let's do more deals. Let's work hard. Every house in this neighborhood sold for 200. We should be able to sell for 210. So we had the highest comp on the block. I don't give a crap about that. I would much rather sell that property for 190 and even make less money to move that property quicker. That's what I care about. And a lot of people think that they think that they want to make more money. I guess that's the right term. I want to say they think they want to make more money, but that's not necessarily the case. And keep in mind, money's not everything, but at the same time, and it's surely not the most important thing in life. But in business, if you're not making money, you will be out of business. And this has never happened to us, but I'm sure that if our company was not profitable and we had to fire employees, that hurts you a lot more than most probably anything else would in life, failing related to that end. So everyone says, well, money's not everything. You don't have to worry about the financial outcome. Now, financial outcome's good, but also we want to provide a good house for a first-time home buyer, or we have government programs that we're selling houses to, and we're doing good by the community. Agreed. No one's disagreeing with that. But guess what? if you're not profitable and you go out of business, then you can't help any more homeowners and you can't sell any houses to anybody, or you can't rent any of your houses to government subsidized agencies or anything, right? So the financial outcome of the partnership is the most important. If you flipped 100 properties and you made zero money, you are not helping. You're not selling any more properties. You are out of business. So that's a big part. And if you can get through, I think that's the biggest hurdle about creating a partnership is trying to truly find out that the financial outcome is the groovy thing that we've had with some of our partnerships, people we've done transactions with. So if you can come up with that hurdle, get over that hurdle, and really partner with someone who will do whatever the hell they got to do to, reach the goal of that transaction or that partnership, I think it's a good one.
Good knowledge as always. Thank you.
Cool, man.
Thanks for coming on.
Appreciate it, buddy. We'll chat soon. Cool. Well, that was good. We have a few other questions that came in. Some related to Ian that we won't add up here, and then some actually good questions that we can talk about. Todd jumped in again with an additional question of, do you run a meetup like a traditional RIA? Where can I come and meet and make contacts and wholesalers? Yeah, we run a RIA group. It's not a RIA group, a meetup group. It's called the Real Estate Investor Incubator Meetup Group. We meet on the third Wednesday every month at 6 p.m. in Columbia, Maryland. This upcoming Wednesday, which is tomorrow, 6 p.m. if you want to come. I think the easiest link to go to is hardmoneybankers.com/meetup group, hardmoneybankers.com/meetup group. I'll put up that link as well while we're talking. And to answer your questions, we do not run it like a traditional RIA group. It costs you nothing to come in. It's free to attend. There's no pitching, selling, gurus, local content from local real estate investors that we trust. People locally that we trust, and we've, for the most part, done business with almost every one of them. It is free. It does not cost anything. There are wholesalers there. There's contractors there. There's lenders there. There's a lot of people there. So definitely, if you have never attended, feel free to attend. You do got to make sure you get there darn near close to 6 o'clock, though, because doors open at 6. First session starts at 6:45, and we usually have about 200 or so RCPs, which comes out to about 100 to 150 people. So the room fills up very, very, very soon. All right, Chris, let's jump into like one or two more questions, and then we'll call it quits from this Be Live. We're talking creating partnerships. So we got one from Glenn Eunice here. Can you talk about partners having similar strength and or different ones?
Yeah, I can jump in on that real quick. So I mentioned it briefly before, but I can talk again about it. And this is related to the personality stuff, which definitely leads into strengths and weaknesses. So when you have people with similar, like the base of what they do is similar, I think can be a very, very good thing. Meaning you're in real estate, you have a lot of the skills required to run a real estate business and run any company in general. But the partners can have different complementary strengths. Like, Jason's more technical than I am, and then maybe I'm better at this stuff and like stuff like that. But our core strengths are very, very similar. And then we have complementary additional skill sets, which I think works pretty well. I don't know if I can think of a partnership off the top of my head where they were completely in opposite, like total opposite skill strengths. I'd have to think about that one a little more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I agree. I mean, I think a few different things. Number one, you're either good or you like one thing over here. And I think both of those are important. You got to be good at it and you also got to like it because, I could be good at something, but if I freaking hate doing it, I'm not, I'm eventually not going to do it. As you create a partnership, yes, I am going to do it because it's important. Someone has to do it. And sometimes there's two, things go by and, Chris and I every day will be like, hey, do me a favor. If you do this, I'll do this. And obviously both of those are like things we don't want to do. And we just partner and we just bite the bullet and we just do it. Listen, I'll go talk to this person if you'll go talk to this person or something like that. I mean, whatever. So it's important. So again, though, on the other side of that, we both we could reverse our roles in this company and still be successful, right? Who knows? Maybe more successful, maybe less successful, but we'd still be successful based on it. But we chose our roles based on what we like doing, what we feel that we're good at. But if we had to step in to cover the other person, we would certainly do that. But it's also nice to know that you can rely on that other person to handle their role.
Yeah, and like the core of our business, if you look at like understanding the loans and deals that we do, the marketing, the finance and accounting stuff, we both get that. We both get all that stuff. And then there's ancillary things that one person would be better at than another. So yeah, I mean, we've had success with that. And I think that, you know, being similar with some of those complementary skills is a good, you know, good recipe for a solid partnership.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so we're going to wrap up in a second. Just so you know, if you're just tuning in a little bit late, we do a chat at HMB Live, 11 a.m. every Tuesday. Make sure to come answer any questions that you have. One thing I forgot to do this week that I'm going to make sure to do right after this show is set up the one for next week. So if you have any questions along the week that you have questions about, or you have any things you want to talk about, feel free to comment on the HMB Live is starting at a certain date. Make sure to comment below on the feed and it'll pop up and we can answer any questions that you have. So we have that ability to answer any questions you have through the comment feed. And also we do links similar to this. And don't worry about this one because next week there'll be a different one. And every week, you know, there's a link, and just like Ian Horowitz hopped on the screen, you'll be able to hop on the screen and answer any questions that you have. So as the week goes on, if you have any questions, don't comment on this one necessarily. Comment on the new one, the live broadcast that we're gonna create, 11 a.m. every Tuesday. We do have a topic in mind that we talk about because we want to keep the flow and we want to keep everything moving forward. So we have kind of a general idea of what we're going to talk about. But it doesn't matter what our conversation is about as long as you want to hop in related to real estate, finance, marketing, business. Love talking about all that stuff. So no matter what the actual topic is, we can discuss all of those things. So hopefully you found this useful. Also, we do our meetup group on Wednesdays, the third Wednesday every month. It's coming up this Wednesday in May 17th. So go to hardmoneybankers.com/meetup group and you can RSVP to that. And since there's no more questions today, we are going to roll out of here. And again, I'm Jason.
Thank you everyone for